Finally, costs are considered. Variable costs per pound of assorted chocolates are estimated to be around $10.16. This includes packaging, chocolate and ingredients cost, and direct labor associated with dipping and making centers. Fixed costs include costs associated with sales, advertising, sales promotion, rent, utilities, insurance, fringe benefits, interest, taxes, and miscellaneous expenses. For a small chocolatier, a ballpark estimate of these annual costs might be around $50,000. Using a break-even formula to calculate a unit break-even volume, a small chocolatier would have to sell 4,052 one-pound boxes of chocolates to break even at a $22.50 price point. However, this is not as simple a problem as it appears on the surface. For instance, their special Valentine's Day package this year was this tin, which cost Shelton Matthews more than their usual package and was more costly to ship. Although they charged a higher price for 1 pound of chocolates in this tin, the effect on break-even unit sales and profits are difficult to assess. Overall, pricing, as well as other marketing decisions, evolve as this small chocolatier expands and gains experience. Rally's, one of the largest double drive-through restaurant chains in the U.S., offers fast, courteous service and a limited menu of high-quality hamburgers, cheeseburgers, bacon cheeseburgers, hot dogs, and chicken sandwiches to customers on the go. All food is made fresh to order and sold at everyday low prices with special emphasis on value-priced combo meals.
To fully understand the role of price in Rally's hamburgers, it's important to reflect on the history of the concept. When Rally's pioneered the double drive-through hamburger concept in the mid-'80s, we were the first to take everyday low pricing, 99-cent hamburgers, to the consumer. It was a permanent part of our signage. Later, some 3 or 4 years later, we pioneered combo pricing, bundling the hamburger, soft drink, and French fries at $1.97. Both of these price points were highly motivating to our consumers, and so we succeeded. But no market is ever stable, and eventually the rest of the hamburger category reacted. Ironically, when Wendy's, Burger King, and McDonald's reacted on price in the early 90s, they weren't responding to the challenge that Rally's had given them, but rather to the strong initiative by Taco Bell on value pricing in the quick service Mexican segment. But unfortunately, when the big bear swung, Rally's was in the way. So price, 99-cent hamburgers, could no longer be our only reason for being. And so as the years have progressed, we have added quality product, best-in-class industry service, and new product offerings to make our price point that much more compelling to consumers.
While pricing is an important part of their marketing strategy at Rally's, ultimately, pricing is a tactic. You pick a certain price point, put it on a specific product, and go to market. Typically, at Rally's, they take a low price point, like 99 cents on their current cheeseburger feature that in their television commercial, where they're looking for trial, put it on their reader board so cars driving down the street can see that attractive price point.
Welcome to Rally's. Would you like to try our terrific 99-cent Rally Burger with cheese? Thanks, come again.
So with these low or hot price points in television and on the reader board, they're asking the consumer to come in and give them a try. As the consumer comes into the lot and approaches their drive-through menu board, they offer them a second form of value, combination meals, where they bundle the hamburger, Coca-Cola, and French fries at a value price point, typically $2.49, or with their premium barbecue bacon cheeseburger product, $2.99. So you see a progression of pricing as the consumer moves through the transaction. Now, even if the consumer buys one of their value combination meals, it doesn't end there. They have a third tier of pricing, which they call their add-on values. It's worth it to them to take a lower margin, to take less profit, if they can build that consumer check just a little bit further. So their team members in the restaurant are trained to encourage the consumer to trade up to a larger size of Coca-Cola or French fries, or add a strip of bacon, or add an apple pie dessert. And they make that an even better value to the consumer. So there you have the 3 tiers of pricing: trial pricing, combination meal pricing, and add-on value pricing. Joy, the classic fragrance from Jean Patou, Paris, France, is expensive, selling for over $365 an ounce. Yet this famous perfume delivers value to its customers through exceptional quality and an image rich with meaning. Its couture heritage conjures up memories of a brilliant era and the exciting women who have worn Joy through the years. A touch of Joy evokes feelings of luxury, femininity, prestige, and status. It is the ultimate fragrance a man can give to a woman. Its use stimulates fond memories of the gift giver. Women who wear Joy wear a fragrance that is unique, a signature fragrance created by Jean Patou in the 30s, which has no equal. It's a classic, the perfume equivalent of the little black dress, the benchmark fragrance against which all other perfumes are measured. Jean Patou was a great couturier or designer in the 20s and 30s. He was both a contemporary and a rival of Coco Chanel. His fashion firsts were legendary: the first sweater dressing, the first knit bathing suits, the first suntan products, the first monogram on clothing, which was a JP logo, the first active sportswear as we know it today, and the first tennis and golf wear.
Joy was conceived by Jean Patou and his perfumer as the most luxurious and richest floral fragrance that can be made. That fragrance was developed by the house's own parfumeur. And at Jean Patou, we are still very fortunate to have our own parfumeur, Jean Curlio. There are only 3 companies that have their own perfumer: Chanel, Guerlain, and Patou. Mr. Curlio has 2 responsibilities. The first, of course, is the development of new fragrances, which he does on a constant basis, sort of like an artist creating new works. The second is the actual production of the product.
Joy and Jean Patou respect the purest of the French perfume industry. A perfume is in many ways collaborative. Advice comes from everyone. It begins with the raw materials, a collection of fragrances. The perfumers have a palette from which to work. When the process begins, it's very creative. The perfumer thinks about a certain type of woman in mind. A perfume is a combination of many things. A perfume is the maker of dreams, a bearer of emotion. When developing a formula, it must be reproduced in sufficient quantities. The necessary raw materials must be bought. There are always adjustments to get the desired results. In the case of Joy, large quantities of roses are required. The jasmine comes from the lush hills of grass, high on the hills above the beautiful and world-famous French Riviera. We have our own special techniques in the processing of the fragrances. Concrete is drawn to an absolute, or base. It requires 6 to 7 million jasmine flowers. It requires 8 to 10,000 roses. The manufacturing process takes 3 to 4 months for a perfume. The quality control in the manufacturing process is critical if you are to have a world-class fragrance such as Joy. Technicians are trained to maintain the highest integrity level possible as part of the fragrance development and subsequent manufacture. The bottles are also very special. They're created in the purest traditions of the glass-making industry. The bottles go through the hot glass stage. They are molded,